Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. This is T-Bone logging in with a Farming Simulator 2013 tutorial. In this episode we will cover harvesting corn, silage and the biogas plant. I must stress that this involves some of the more expensive items in the game. Hence, I will be using my career farm for this episode. So, without further ado, let's go down on the farm and get started. To plant and harvest corn, you will need an Amazon EDX 6000 and a Deutz 7545 RTS with corresponding corn header. You could use a Horsch Maestro 12SW and a Case IH axial flow combine with an IH 3412 corn header. Harvesting corn is exactly the same as any other field rotation, just involving different equipment. Cultivate the field in the usual way. Then seed it, ensuring the corn icon is selected. Otherwise you will seed sugar beet, which you cannot harvest with this equipment. Fertilise the field as normal. For this we're using chemical fertiliser. I will cover liquid fertiliser later, with manure covered in another tutorial. Once the crop has matured, harvest the field with the corn header in the usual way. If you use the Deutz 7545, make sure the corn header has unfolded before you do this, as you may miss harvesting some of the corn. Well, I've got a lot of corn to store, so I'll meet you at the biogas plant for the next part. Welcome to the biogas plant. This is probably one of the least understood parts of Farming Simulator. If used correctly, this is a very lucrative way of making money in the game. In order for the plant to function, you need to produce silage. This is produced either by fermenting grass or making chaff from corn, grain or grass. I will cover each method in turn. Let's look at the corn method first. The first part of the process is just like any field rotation. Cultivate, seed and fertilise the field the same way as if you were going to harvest the crop. The difference is the processes involved when the crop matures. The next stage of the process is to turn corn into chaff. The most inexpensive way of doing this is using a Pottinger Mech 6 with a tipper trailer behind. However, it has a very small working width. Even when the trailer is full, it will continue to chaff corn. Hence, I would recommend using a Chrome Big X Series forage harvester with an easy collect corn header. This works in exactly the same way as other harvesters, except for one major difference. The Krone does not have a storage capacity. You can attach trailers to the rear of the Krone, but you are limited in the size of trailer you can use. I would recommend following the Krone with a tractor and tipper, as you can use much larger trailers. This is a more convenient way of doing this, as the Krone stops harvesting while you offload the trailer. In general, the tractor will be quicker and be able to climb the chaff mounting you are about to create easier. If you use a Kroger AgriLiner SRB 3-35 with a Sega Uno or Duo, the additional articulation point should prevent the tractor from getting stuck. You could use a Kroger AgriLiner HKT 302 and link the trailers together for the same reason. Linking 3 of these does give you greater capacity. However, due to the double articulation point, they are very difficult to reverse. Now let's look at the grain method of producing chaff. I have prepared a field of wheat, barley and canola to demonstrate. This can only be done with a Krone X series with an X disc attached, so let's fire up the harvester. Hire a worker, jump into the tractor and get going. final method I will cover is grass. I have cultivated a field ready to plant some. I will stress that once you have changed a field to grass, it is very difficult to return it to a state ready to harvest a different crop. It can only be done in Create Fields mode using the plough, and it is painstaking. I would only do this method if you are sure you don't want to use corn or grain. The main advantage with grass is you do not need to cultivate and reseed it once it's planted. I will cover each method and variation in turn. The first method uses the X cutting disc featured earlier with a tractor following alongside. The second method involves a number of steps. First, you need to mow the grass. The Kuhn PZ mowers are ideal for this task. While you can collect grass cuttings without doing this, using a windrower makes the job quicker and easier. For this, I'd use the Pottinger TOP1252 or the Krone Swadro 2000. If you use a Krone Big M500, you can skip this step by enabling swath deposit. With windrowing complete, you have two options. You can collect the grass using a foraging wagon, such as the Krone ZX550 GD. If you have a Krone X1100, you can turn the windrows into chaff by using an EasyFlow 300 and offload it into a tractor and trailer following alongside. To offload the chaff or grass, drive slowly along any one of the 4 storage bins. The maximum capacity of these is 600,000 litres. You need a minimum of 10% to begin fermentation. With all the chaff or grass offloaded, we need to compress it. You can use any vehicle for this. However, I found the Lizard wheel loader seemed to compress quicker. Once we have compressed this to 100%, we need to ferment the grass or chaff. To do this, we need to blanket the silo with tarpaulin. Either drive or walk up to the bin entrance and press R on the keyboard. This process will take a total of 12 in-game hours to complete. At 120 times speed, that works out as 6 minutes. So, I'll make a nice cup of tea and see you in a moment. With fermentation complete, it is time to put the wheel loader to work. Due to the capacity of the bucket, it is the best vehicle for the last part of the process. While it is possible to use a mouse and keyboard, I would highly recommend using a controller for this part. Simply load the wheel loader and drive it over to the hopper and offload it. You will notice your bank balance getting significantly healthier as a result. If the hopper does fill up, use time acceleration to clear the backlog. Repeat until all the silage has been processed. The biogas plant produces liquid fertiliser as a byproduct. You can use this to fertilise your fields for free and is an organic method of farming. To do this, you need a slurry tanker. The Garant VTL or VQ are ideal for this task. So, we have covered harvesting corn, silage and the biogas plant. In the next episode, I will discuss foraging, baling hay and straw, as well as briefly recap grass silage. This is in preparation for covering farm animals in a later tutorial. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Until next time, take care and enjoy your gaming. This is T-Bone logging off.